Welcome back, guys. This is Adrian Poe, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the perfect writing conditions for any writer when they are getting inspiration or when they're looking for inspiration, all the things and their surroundings that they need to actually sit down and start writing. So, where do you actually write? You could write outside. How about you could write in your room, inside somewhere, or you can go out in public, for example, cafes or bars or restaurants, and actually sit down and, with your laptop or a pencil and paper and start writing. I know that Quentin Tarantino, he mentioned when he was writing one of his latest movies, he liked to go to a bar, corner bar that he always goes to, and he just sits there for hours and hours, probably the whole day, just looking at people, getting inspiration of all the different people coming in, and that really helps him with his, writing the character development and all his unique, crazy characters. So, where do you like to write? So let's talk about some other writing conditions that can really affect a writer's, mentally and physically. So did you ever want to sit down and write something, but for some reason you just can't? You're sitting there and just staring at the paper, or you got no motivation or no inspiration? Well, usually when you sit down, what is your mood before you sit down or as you're sitting down to write? Are you angry? Can you even concentrate in the moment? Are you sad or depressed, or maybe, you're too excited about something so it's really hard to concentrate and focus on the details of whatever you're trying to write or a character because you're too angry because something happened in that day where you got into an argument with your girlfriend or your parents, or someone cut you off in traffic, so you're just too angry, or whatever happened. So that's kind of preventing you from writing in the moment. So you gotta take a couple deep breaths and calm down and really focus and get back to a better, Zen-like mood. What about, did you stay up all night and you didn't get enough sleep? Maybe that's why you can't write, because you can't concentrate, or you're too tired. So I would suggest, trying to get at least 8 hours of sleep, or, to refresh your mind and just clear it of everything, of, just get a fresh start in the morning, or just really get a good night's sleep. That really helps me out. Some other thing is, I like to eat healthy. I'm sure other people do, and this really helps with writing, because if you're eating junk food throughout the day, unhealthy fat or sugary foods, you're going to be in a constant sugar rush. So your mind mentally is going to be, all up with sugar and hyper. So you're not going to be able to sit down and concentrate on all the details of the writing, because you're on a sugar rush. And then finally, when you start crashing, now you're all lethargic and, depressed, and you don't feel like writing. So I would suggest, eating lots of healthy foods and not a lot of food. Don't eat a lot of big portions, because then you're going to be bloated, or your stomach's going to, hurt you, or you're going to have a, stomach ache. So you don't want that. You want to be, eat just enough to give you a little bit of energy so you could focus. You don't want to start writing your, memoir right after Thanksgiving dinner. That's not really going to help. Also suggest, be active. Exercise at least once a day. Go outside, get some fresh air. Walk around the block, or play some basketball, ride a bike, or go to the gym. Get your blood flowing. Get the creative juices flowing and moving. So then when you sit down, your mind is free and you're ready to go and write the best, screenplay or book or whatever that you can, because you went outside or you exercised and, you're healthy. So that really, helps you out too. So try some of these things out. Here's some other tips that I doubt anybody really thought of, because they're probably ridiculous. And when I tell you them, you're going to be like, what is he talking about? But if you really sit down and think about it, these are really going to help you out. So, for example, when you're going to sit down and start writing, wherever you are, can you write in a noisy environment, or do you need absolute quiet? Or does every little noise that you hear, either outside or, in the next room from where you're writing, does that affect you? Does that break your concentration? For me, I need to be perfect, quiet for me to even sit down and write and concentrate. Others, like I gave you an example of Quentin Tarantino, he could go out in public in a busy bar and just sit down and write, and it doesn't distract him. Other people might need, complete silence. Some other tips that really help you out that no one probably thought of is wearing comfortable clothes. If you're sitting wherever you are and you're uncomfortable, maybe your shirt is too tight, or you know you just came back from working out and you're all sweaty, and you know it's gonna really affect you writing. So I would suggest wearing comfortable clothes. Help with circulation, and you know it helps you to clear your mind because you're not focused on, oh, this shirt is too tight, or it's the collar is itchy, or it's giving me a rash, or it's bothering me and I constantly gotta adjust my shorts or my pants. I gotta focus on writing. Also, is it hot out? Is it too hot? Are you sweating in your room or wherever you are? Do you have an air conditioner, or do you have a fan? Or is it too cold? Are you like shivering? This, I told you this sounds probably ridiculous, but there's a lot of little things that can distract you at any moment, and you don't even realize it until you're in the moment. There's been times where I was sitting down and I'm writing, all of a sudden it got too hot and I start sweating, and my arms, the forearms are sweating as I'm touching the paper. My paper's getting all wet from the sweat and it's messing up my writing. Or it's too cold, so I gotta close a window because I can't concentrate because I'm shivering or something. So believe it or not, that actually does affect you. Also, what about visual distractions? Let's say you're sitting at your desk or in the living room, wherever you are, and the TV's playing and there's something distracting on the TV. Or let's say you're in your room and you got a poster on the wall, and all you can do in the moment, because you got writer's block or you're just trying to think of something, you're staring at the poster because it's too colorful, or too, whatever the poster is too distracting, and you lose your train of thought. You forget what you want to write in the dialogue or whatever the character is trying to do, and now you got writer's block because of a stupid distraction in front of you, or at the side of your eye. The corner of your eye is constantly dragging you off the page, and you're constantly looking at something that you're not supposed to because you're trying to focus. So all these little things that probably sound so stupid have affected you, one time or another, when you're trying to write. So next time, try to figure these things out and try to correct them and get the perfect writing conditions for your surroundings. And finally, I'm going to tell you what my perfect writing conditions are for when I sit down and start writing. So basically, where I like to write is in my room. That's where I have all my inspiration. And the way I start writing is I don't sit down right away. I actually stand up and I pace back and forth in my room, and I talk out loud to myself, and I break down, whatever the scene I'm in the moment writing. If I'm, talking about a character and I'm trying to figure out everything he wants to say or he wants to do, or the relationship he has with the other character that's in the scene. So I stand up and walk around, pace back and forth, and I talk out loud to myself, and I go over the scene, repeat the scene, and I over and over and over. And obviously I come up with ideas in the moment as I pace back and forth, and I probably change the scene a million times. And then when I'm done pacing, I sit down instantly and I take some notes on my little notepad. And then when I'm finally ready to put it on the paper to write the screenplay, that's when I sit down and I start writing in the scene from the notes that I wrote down, from when I stood up and I paced back and forth, talking about the scene out loud. I also like to work out that day before. Doesn't have to be a heavy workout. I could either go around the block, jog a little bit, or just walk down to the park, start playing some basketball. I also go to the gym and lift some weights. So again, not too heavy, just to get my blood flowing, my creative juices ready from when I sit down or when I pace back and forth in my room. I also like to get a good night's sleep. Very rarely, there's been times where I was so tired I couldn't sleep. So I said, okay, I got nothing better to do, so I'm going to start writing. And I stayed up all night writing, but I was so tired, I just fell asleep. And then I woke up. I looked at what I wrote, and I was like, nah, this is trash. So I have to rewrite everything anyway when I get a better night's sleep and I can concentrate. Also, for me, when I'm in my room, I have to have peace and quiet. I cannot, have the TV on or anything outside distracting me. I know a couple days ago when I was writing something, there was construction workers outside my window paving the street, and they were breaking up the street, and there was like these big trucks making horrible noise. Or when in the backyard, the lawnmowers are mowing the lawn. I just can't. So I gotta wait when it's like peace and quiet, and I can hear myself thinking out loud because I talk to myself out loud. Also, I have to write when it's not too hot out. I write better in the wintertime or in the fall than I do in the summer. I do write in the summer, but I have to have a fan on me at all times, or I put an air conditioner. But also, if it gets too cold, then I have to like turn it back off and just wait until it's at the right temperature. So I cannot write when I'm sweating or melting hot or the humidity. I just can't do it. I have to write when it's a little bit cool out or like I have a fan on me or air conditioner. Also, I like to eat healthy. I don't want to have like a bloated stomach after eating, some unhealthy fatty or sugary foods, because sugar, if I'm hopped up on sugar and I can't concentrate, then it just messes me up. So I gotta eat something, 6 small meals a day, not too, can't have big portions, and I can't have like fatty foods. I try to eat as healthy as I can. Also, I like to either, when I write, I put on my pajamas or I put on some athletic clothes like some sweatpants or some shorts, especially in the summertime. And I just have like a wife beater on or whatever, just comfortable for me, not to focus on anything else, just on writing. And I also, when I just before I start writing, or if I try to get some inspiration, or also if I have writer's block, I like to go take a nice shower. Not too hot, especially in the summertime. I like a nice cool water, and I'm not the only one that does this. A lot of writers do this. I remember Aaron Sorkin, a famous, I think he's a director, a screenplay writer. He said in an interview when he actually, just after he won an Oscar for some movie he wrote, and they asked him, well, how do you, come up with your inspiration to write? He's like, I take at least 5 to 6, maybe 10 showers a day for when he starts writing. So he writes a little bit, and then when he can't write no more, he needs some more inspiration. Boom, he goes in the shower, a nice cold shower, gets his juices flowing, inspiration hits again, and that's how he wrote his Oscar-winning, movie. I forget which one it is, but that's what he likes to do. And that's what I like to do. I don't do 5 to 6 showers a day, but at least once a day, I take a shower, and that helps me with my inspiration. So that's pretty much my perfect writing conditions. And what are some of yours? So I hope some of these ideas helped you out to better prepare you for writing. Let me know in the comments below, what is your perfect writing conditions. Also, hit the like button, subscribe. Hit me up on Facebook and Twitter. Don't forget to hit the bell to get notifications for my future videos. I really hope you enjoyed this channel having to do with screenplay writing, where a story comes first. Until next time, see ya.